What's happening, my fellow advocates? I just wanted to take this moment to answer a question that I was asked recently. And that question is, what inspires you? Now, someone was asking me this question. What inspires you to keep going? Now, as I think about this, right, and I felt like this was a very good question because for many of you who are connected with me through the Growth Times Infinity podcast, and you're connected with me on the Reggie the Growth Advocate YouTube channel, you know at the end of every episode, at the end of every video, I insert the tagline, keep growing and keep going. Now, for me personally, I put that out there. I put that message out there to my viewers, to my listeners, to inspire you all to keep it going as you go along on your journey. And it's a way for me to encourage myself as well as I continue to keep growing and keep going as I go along in my journey. Now, it started many years ago, right? There was a point of time in my life where I was in a place, where I was in a space where I did not want to be because I was stuck in my comfort zone as I was living this routine life of waking up in the morning, getting ready for work, going to work, doing 8 hours, coming home, spending time with my family, which I love to do. That wasn't part of the issue. Along with that, watching TV, being on the internet. Now, with those two activities, I was being very unproductive as I was watching TV and as I was being on the internet. It wasn't leading to anything. I wasn't learning anything. And then there was a point where I got a hold of this book, right? I got a hold of this great book titled The Dream Giver. And the author is Bruce Wilkinson. That changed my life. It really changed my outlook. It changed my perspective. And I started to apply that shift in my mindset. So for those of you who are currently in a place or in a space where you don't want to be, especially if you feel stuck in your comfort zone, I would highly recommend that book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. So once I read that book, man, I just made it a point. I made it intentional to do better in my life daily. Just doing daily things to make myself better as I go along on my journey. And then at some point, a few years later, I decided to become a content creator, where once again, I have a podcast and I have a YouTube channel. Amongst other things, just living life with a purpose. That's where I'm at right now. I'm still doing some things that I would prefer not to do, but I'm doing much more than I want to do. And after a while, I said to myself, I want to get to a point in my life where I'm doing more of what I want to do instead of doing what I have to do. So now as I go forward in my journey, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have no desire to be in that place, in that space where I was years ago, where I was in my comfort zone, where I was living a routine life. So now I go about my business of learning as much as possible, doing some things that I felt like that I wouldn't have done years ago, but I'm doing it now, taking chances as I search for fulfillment, as I search for prosperity. So I love what I'm doing now, but also I am a continued work in progress. So I'm going to continue to keep working on myself, and I want to encourage you to do the same. So that's the answer to the question. What inspires me to keep going? And I definitely want to give a shout out to my guy, Tony Mitchell, who's a stand-up brother, who's a great guy. Tony is a brother that I follow on Instagram, and I would encourage you to follow him as well. And his handle is T Country Boy M. I would highly encourage you to follow my guy, that brother right there. He's funny. He's very informative. He's very supportive of his community as well as independent businesses. So once again, follow my guy, Tony Mitchell, T Country Boy M. Tony, I appreciate the question. And for those who have a question for me, if you would like to ask me a question, I would love to answer it. So send me questions, y'all. And also, as always, you can send me the questions either through social media or email. As far as social media, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. So if you're connected with me, reach out to me with a question. If you are not connected to me in any way on social media, find me, y'all. I'm on Instagram at Reggie Keeps Growing. Also, once again, I mentioned the other social media platforms. So connect with me if you haven't already. And once again, bring on the questions, y'all. I want to answer. This is actually a new segment that I'm putting on a YouTube channel. So I await your questions. And as always, I appreciate you all tuning in. I am Reggie the Growth Advocate. And until the next time, keep growing and keep going.